your content in one or more types. The next thing would be to come up with a content marketing strategy. The first step would be determining your goals or objectives. Sure, the main or general goal would be to make a profit, but different strategies could have different goals. Do you want to quickly make bigger sales, or do you want to gain a bigger audience of potential buyers? Maybe you want to make more marketing partnerships. These kinds of goals will influence your decision on the marketing strategy. So, it's only reasonable that you should be capable of setting the right objectives or goals.
Lesson 1: Smart Goals and KPI, Key Performance Indicator. One of the steps in a general content marketing strategy is setting goals and key performance indicators. Before we look at those strategies step by step, we will learn about what the terms SMART goals and KPIs even mean. SMART goals. A popular and quite simple method for setting goals is the SMART goals method. SMART, in this case, is an acronym that stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Now let's look at them more closely. Goals can be very general, like for example, improving sales, or very specific, like if in June 2022 we want to make 5% more profit than we did in May 2022. When planning something, it is always useful to set a small number of more general goals that you want to focus on throughout the whole project. This will help you keep a straight line from the beginning to the end of a project. This is why we suggest 1 to a maximum of 3 general goals, so that you don't set yourself up to more than you can handle. Keep in mind, once the goals are set, you can always add to them in case you reach them before the due date. But it can be a lot more stressful if you run out of time or don't have good results once your project is done. Once you have your general goals, you can start thinking about setting more focused goals or SMART goals. We will look at examples of some for each of them. Specific. A goal is specific when it is strategic and targeted at a specific area for improvement. For example, you want to learn a foreign language so that you can expand your business to foreign countries. Measurable. The next word is measurable. This is the quantity-oriented part of a goal and usually suggests an indicator of progress. This means that they usually include some numbers, such as the number of sales, the number of posts on social media, basically anything that you can measure. For example, you want to sell 100 products per month, or you want to increase your sales by 5% by the end of the year. Achievable. You need to consider the resources, time, and skills that you will need to achieve your goals. Do you have the right employees for this task? Do they have the right knowledge, skills, and time? Is it possible to achieve everything in the time frame you set for yourself or the team? Do you have the budget? If you don't have any of those, you also need to plan the activities and ways to attain the necessary skills, knowledge, or employees so that you can achieve your goals. Any goal you set has to be achievable. For example, if you've been a salesman for 10 years and were able to sell more than 50 products per month, you know that this is also achievable in the future because you are already doing it. But if you want to improve those sales up to 60, you need to think about what needs to happen for this to be achieved. If you have any influence on it and will be able to do it, you can set your goals higher. Let's say your goal was to expand your work hours in the store. Maybe up to this day, you only work 3 days per week in the shop, but from now on, you'll be able to work 5 days per week there. This means that achieving the goals is possible, since you have the resources and time for it. But if you already work full-time, can't afford any help, and also don't want to work overtime, there is not much you can do when it comes to expanding your working hours. Relevant. When setting goals, it is very important that they're relevant to you and your business. If something doesn't make sense to you, or the change would bring nothing new or improved to your company, do you need it? For example, one of your products is a game where you learn about your country in your native language. An idea was that you could translate the game and make it sellable on the foreign market. But there was never any interest shown for this. You don't have anyone among the staff who could translate it, nor do you have the budget to hire someone new. Sure, an expanded market sounds great as an idea, But is this goal relevant to you at this moment? Maybe focusing on making sales in your own country could be better for now. So a goal like organizing events for promoting the game may be a better one. Time bound. Another number-focused characteristic of a goal is setting the time frame. Again, you need to keep in mind that your goals should be realistic and therefore doable in a set time frame. You probably won't be able to double the sales in 1 week, but maybe doing more advertisement and actively gaining an audience could be done in a shorter time. As long as you keep it real and maybe even include a few extra weeks than you planned just to play it safe, you should do well. KPI, Key Performance Indicator. Key performance indicators are the results or the information that tells you whether you achieved your goals or not. They provide information about performance levels, meeting strategic targets, and setting goals. So, for example, if your goal was to increase sales, your KPIs can be the number of sales, the number of sold items or services, the ticket values, and so on. But keep in mind that some KPIs need extra work to follow them up. So if your goal was to increase traffic on your website, you need to have a traffic monitor so that you can see how many visits you have per day. That's why you need to be sure that when you set your goals, you will have the necessary tools and sometimes even the right employees who will monitor them and keep track of the KPIs.
There is no such thing as the one and only strategy, but when you look at them, they can follow more or less the same pattern.
The strategy you choose must fit your company's or business style, resources, goals, and so on. Still, let's look at one example that can help you while planning your strategy. Step 1. Creating the buyer persona. Before you even start creating your content, you need to know and understand your audience and potential buyers. You need to imagine a name, social class, history, desires, problems, interests, and other characteristics that a typical buyer of your products and services would have. This is called creating a buyer persona. Knowing your audience and creating a buyer persona is not the same thing. Your audience is a large group that has only some common characteristics, and this knowledge is therefore very basic and general. But when you create a buyer persona, you make it very specific and personal. This way, you'll be able to create content and a marketing strategy that will not only intrigue the potential buyer, but will also resolve their doubts and problems, gain their trust, and build a bond between you and them. A good buyer persona will be the base for all the following steps in the content marketing strategy, so you should take your time for it and make it as specific as possible. Now take a few minutes and create a buyer persona for your business. As we stated just now, think about what their name is, where they live, and what their everyday life looks like. What social class do they belong to? How much money do they make? What problems do they face daily? Write it all down. You can even sketch this person if it helps. And why do they need your products or services? Step 2. Defining the goals and KPIs. As we said before, the goals and KPIs have to be set strategically and connected one to another. It's also crucial to keep in mind what the realistic capabilities and possibilities of your company are. So, for example, if you're a new company, you can't expect to double your sales by the next month. It helps to set 1 or 2 bigger goals and then all the necessary steps and more focused goals to achieve them. Remember, you can always do better or more than you set yourself up for, but it's not convenient to end up with more unachieved than achieved goals. Now think about your company again. Try setting 1 general goal and 3 to 4 more specific ones. Don't forget to choose a matching KPI for every goal as well. For help, go back to the lesson about SMART goals and KPIs. Step 3. Considering the buyer's journey. We already looked at the basics of the buyer's journey in Chapter 1. In marketing strategies, they also talk about a marketing funnel that has 3 stages. The theory is the same, but let's look at it again from a strategic perspective. TOFU. What we called awareness in Chapter 1, we will now call the top of the funnel, or shorter TOFU. This is the stage where the possible buyer is only starting to discover their problem. That's why at this point the audience is the largest. You have very little or no information about them, and they also don't have a lot of information about you. From a strategic point, the most suitable content for this stage are blogs, posts, podcasts, ebooks, and other types of content that address the subject in a more general, broad way. MOFU. The next is the middle of the funnel, or the MOFU that we consider. The audience got smaller since only those stayed who recognized their problems and now look for a way to solve them. It's possible that you already have some information about them, maybe an email address that allowed them access to the ebook, etc. And you can use this data to take them to the following funnel. Strategically, the best content marketing strategies for this funnel are the more interactive ones, like emails, multimedia, social media, or instant messenger. Also great for providing more information are the infographics and short reviews in blogs. BOFU, the last decision stage, as we called it before, or the bottom of the funnel. Here, you're left with the smallest audience, who should be very interested in your products or services. They know what they need to solve their problem, they already did the research, and therefore have some information. Plus, they're interested in your business. So you only need to provide them with enough to make the final decision and buy the product or service. This is when case studies and other clients' testimonials are the most effective. You can also have an influencer's recommendation or content where they use your products or services. The tunnel stages are important, as your audience has a different amount of knowledge at each stage, and you need to pick the right type to provide them with the necessary information so that they can move from one tunnel to the other. Now remember your buyer persona. What kind of information do they already have about your business? Pick 3 content marketing types, one for each funnel, and explain why you chose them for the specific funnel while also considering your audience. Step 4. Setting a budget. Ideas can be great, but are they also realistic? Budgets can often be one of the biggest obstacles when it comes to realizing our ideas, so be sure that you have a realistic budget plan for your content marketing. Sadly, there are no general rules as to how much you should be spending on content marketing or advertising in general. These numbers differ from one business to the other, as each has unique sources, needs, goals, personnel, etc. But for a better picture, the latest data shows that companies spend around 25 to 30% of their marketing budget on content marketing. Our tip for budget planning is to consider what you or your team are good at. Is it creating websites? Maybe you have a writer or a graphic designer on your team. Use the skills and knowledge that you already have access to and won't cost you more money to get from other companies. Try choosing the type of content marketing that you won't need extra money for, and start with the things that you're already good at. As we said before, you can always add and do more than you planned. Also keep in mind that your first strategy may not work, so if possible, expand the budget for a plan B. As some say, always hope for the best, but be prepared for the worst. And if you end up with no need to spend it on content marketing, you'll surely have other needs, where this money will come in handy. Now look at the types of content marketing you chose before. Do you have the necessary skills to create them? If not, are you willing to spend money on an expert who'll do this for you, or would you rather change them? Step 5. Doing the research. As we said before, content marketing is not just happening online. Most of the marketing today happens in the digital world. More on that in the following topic. Your audience usually finds out about your business through the search engine results pages, also referred to as SERP. For your business to be findable online, you need the right keywords so that you will be easily visible among other similar businesses. That's why you need to research what keywords your audience is the most likely to use when searching for your products or services. Keep in mind that longer, more specific terms will lead to more precise results, and enable the potential buyers to find exactly what they will be looking for. But this also means that you won't be seen by the audience who has less information about the products or services and maybe isn't fully sure about what they are searching for. Looking at the business and the buyer persona you created, now write down 5 keywords or terms that you would use for describing your products or services. Step 6. Implementing SEO. As you've learned before in the previous module, keywords are just one part of search engine optimization, or the SEO, which is a set of techniques used to reach the first places on the search pages. The higher you are, the better the chances that potential buyers will find your business and therefore choose you for purchasing the products or the services they need.
There are a lot of things you can do to improve your ranking, like uploading your sitemap or optimizing your pages for mobile devices. So if you didn't do it until now, we suggest that you go to Module 3 about SEO and learn more about it.
Step 7. Distribution of content. Most businesses today have their webpage where all the necessary information is already accessible to the potential buyer. But as we said, web pages can be found only using the right keywords. And even then, you have to be high enough in the search pages that the audience will notice you. That's why you need to also think about other ways of promoting and distributing your content for marketing purposes. This can be anything, from social media to different collaborations, and so on. You should also consider marketing outside of the online world, for example at events, in a newspaper, or on the radio. Anything that can give you access to a broader audience and help you attract them to your business. Remember, the more channels and real-life places you are present at, the bigger your audience is. Another thing that helps you distribute your content is the communication with your audience and possible buyers. Social media can be great for that, but the options here are many, and you can also offer email support, instant messenger, video calls, and so on. Anything that can make the experience more personal to the buyer and at the same time allows you to send them more information about your product or service is a win for your business. Think again about your buyer persona and the type of content marketing you chose in the previous tasks. How can you distribute it? Try thinking about at least one possible collaboration and one marketing strategy that happens in real life, not on the internet. Step 8. Analyzing and measuring the results. The set goals and KPIs have no purpose if you don't measure them and analyze. It's suggested that you do a simple analysis at least once a month and then adjust your strategy according to the results. This way, you can discover possible mistakes quickly enough and solve the problems while still reaching the set goals. Keep in mind that every mistake is an opportunity to learn something new, so try seeing them as learning experiences and improve yourself with them. Often, businesses focus on creating the best possible content, but then once they did the first round of promotion, they simply get stuck and don't know how to continue their content marketing strategy. Let's look at some other marketing techniques you can include in your general marketing strategy after you have created your content. Paid advertisement. The first thing you want to do as a new company is to get recognized, and for this, you'll need some boosting, launching, and establishing. Usually, you want to avoid paying for advertising, especially in content marketing, as this doesn't give you the organic reach and the SEO you want. But as the first step in your strategy, paying for advertisements can be useful nonetheless. Paid ads can help you get recognized if you just started your business and are also a great way for your company to gain momentum, generate leads, and build brand awareness. In short, paying for ads can put you on the map, but then you need to think of a different strategy to keep yourself relevant in the business world. The biggest plus of paid ads is their fast delivery, reliability, and predictable returns. That's why this can be great at the beginning or for catching marketing deadlines. Inbound marketing. Another marketing strategy that can help you gain a larger audience is inbound marketing. Its focus is mainly on attracting potential buyers and building strong, lasting relations with them. Instead of annoying pop-up ads that can be frustrating for the audience, inbound marketing tries to politely invite people to check out their content by promising great value and entertainment. This can be done in many ways, but some that have proven to be successful are publishing articles or a series of blogs where products or services are marketed more subtly. This way, the audience still gets all the necessary information while also bonding with the company. Put in a simpler way, inbound marketing binds the audience and the business. That's why it's a great strategy to use once you've created your content and want to take the next step in the strategy. Conversation marketing. This strategy doesn't need a lot of explanation, as it's exactly what the name suggests: marketing that happens in a conversation. This can happen in many forms, either face to face or in the virtual world. The important thing is that the conversation is continuous and gives both the potential buyer and the seller the opportunity to speak directly to one another. This way, both parties can give and ask for all the necessary information and come to a faster agreement on the sale or business. The potential buyer has the opportunity to explain their needs and ask questions, this way clearing any doubts they may have about the purchase. On the other side, the seller can ask for any necessary data, give advice, inform, and educate their audience, and also create meaningful relations with the potential buyer. Studies have shown that up to 90% of the audience likes to have the possibility of contacting the company before purchasing something, so be sure to give them the option to do so. You can opt for live chats via phone or video call or emails. Just be sure that you're available at the contact you provide to the audience. Account-based marketing, or ABM. This is a very strategic and strictly planned marketing strategy that focuses on a specific target group with the help of online cookies. It targets potential buyers who are looking at your products or services but left the website before finalizing the purchase. It can also target the audience who already purchased something from your company and will therefore maybe do it again. Reminding them of what you have to offer can increase their awareness of a need and therefore improve your sales, as you'll be the first company to offer a solution. Promotional events. Sure, most marketing today is happening online, but never underestimate the power that events can have on increasing sales. You do have to think about what type of event is suitable for your company and the products or services you provide first. Industrial fairs are still one of the most common events in the marketing world. You can also think about events that promote more indirectly, for example, an open kitchens event where local food can be promoted, a fashion show for promoting a local designer, a book signing event, and so on. Events also give a chance for having conversations both with the audience and with potential business partners. Also, think of events where two or more partners collaborate. It's beneficial to all, attracts a larger audience, plus you can share the costs of the event among partners. Earned media and free media. While paying for promotion is one option, you can also consider free media or publicity in other cases. This happens via influencers, newspapers, being mentioned in local news on the TV or radio, and so on. But be careful when getting free publicity. There are a lot of ways to do this. You can invite the media to an event where you showcase or test your products or services, ask an influencer to review them on their channel, but be careful. While some may think that there is no such thing as bad publicity, this doesn't apply to the marketing world. For example, remember the incident with Coca-Cola and Cristiano Ronaldo? Just because he removed the beverage from his table during an interview, their sales dropped drastically after the conference was over. So be careful with what you do or whom you trust with free media, because as soon as this can make you, it can also break you. Referral program. This is another systematic approach where companies encourage their buyers to leave reviews of your products or services and recommend them to others. This program's goal is to grow its audience via people who already purchased their products or services. This way, they can recognize their loyalty while also gaining popularity among the new audience. Just be sure that you don't make your buyers feel used or taken advantage of. You can offer them a discount or a free product, for example, which will also improve your relations.
So now that we have created the content and the strategy for marketing your product or service, let's also look at how to promote yourself and why this is important.